So those who are familiar, welcome back, and anyone new, welcome. Arriving in your comfortable seat, feel your lower body begin to land, rooting down. And notice if you're leaning forward or back, left or right. Relaxing your shoulders, we'll drop the right ear to the right shoulder, going into a neck release right away, letting the day unwind. Option to stay just like this, or send your left arm out to the side on tented fingertips, or palm may come down to the ground. And if you slide the palm down, guide it closer to your thigh, keeping a soft jaw. Right ear heavy, feeling that elongation on the left side of the neck, boosting circulation, blood flow to the brain. And letting go of tension in the places we carry it most. Noticing if you hold your breath at any time, just reset your breath, letting your inhales and exhales be natural. Slowly send the right palm up overhead. Place it just above the left ear, guiding right ear closer to right shoulder. Little bit of weight in the palm, almost featherweight, just enough of a self-assist to deepen the stretch at your own pace. And the goal is not to have the ear touch the shoulder, but just to increase the elongation, release tension. And relaxing that left hand, maybe you bring it to your thigh, or let the palm come behind your low back. If you lose the tall spine at any time, you can readjust. And slowly on your next inhale, press your head into your hand, coming upright. Release that left palm. Find a slow, steady now. We're going to look left. Slowly gaze forward, look right, lubricating the spine here. Gentle motion. Making your way back to center. And drop the left ear to the left shoulder. Right away, you may begin to feel a nice release in the neck, maybe in the chest or the shoulder blade, wherever you're holding tension. Just noticing the different side to side. An option to stay right here or send the right hand out to the side on tented fingertips. And this hand away from you helps to keep that tall spine. You might feel sensation radiate all the way down from the neck into the fingertips. And feeling the left ear closer to the left shoulder. Relaxing so much so you may begin to drool. And no one has told me that they've drooled yet, and I haven't seen it. Allowing yourself to keep that soft jaw with a little bit of laughter. Feeling the slow burn of sensation, tension, releasing. And slowly we'll send the left palm up overhead, place it just above the right ear, guiding left ear closer to left shoulder. Relaxing the right palm. Feeling the sensation evolve or change. being gentle with the pressure of the palm on the head. And slowly on your next inhale, press your head into your hand to come upright. Release your palm. We'll find that slow, steady no. Look over one shoulder. And slowly to center, looking over the other shoulder. And back to center. We'll walk the palms forward for child's pose. So you can keep knees together or knees apart on this one, sliding palms forward to the top of your mat, belly over the thighs, knees together for low back release, or knees apart for a hip release. Forehead will come down towards the ground. Then you're welcome to put a prop such as a pillow, a bolster, pile of blankets between the thighs, between the knees if you've widened the knees, or maybe just under the forehead if knees are together. Or another option, under forearms and forehead with either knees together or knees apart, relaxing, taking flexion out of the shoulders, finding your variation here. So feel free to explore all of them and then settle in. And if there's pain in the knees, a nice option can be to put a blanket underneath the knees or a blanket on top of the calves under the thighs, reducing flexion in the knees. Making any last adjustments. And sinking into stillness. At any time that the shoulders feel uncomfortable, you can slide them slightly back or bring palms around the outsides of your feet with palms face up for embryo. So finding your depth of comfort until it no longer serves you, giving yourself permission to change as needed. Listening to your body. And coming inward here, feeling all this length. Long spine, crown of the head reaching forward, and tailbone reaching behind you. Breathing naturally. And observing how the mind responds to silence. May our thoughts be like seeds of a dandelion floating away and planting something good that we want to see more of. Letting the thought float away and coming back to your breath. And slowly lift your head up lightly, roll forward, drop your elbows down, slide the feet slightly behind you, and roll the heart forward. Toes can be tucked or untucked here. Navel just above the ground, hands like a number 11, shoulders over the elbows, palms down. Draw the heart forward, broaden the collarbone, shoulders roll back. Little back bend here, waking us back up. Feel the heart opening. And feel your belly drawing in and expanding like a balloon. Gaze is forward, or perhaps eyes are closed. You might flip your palms to the sky. Relaxing your hands. Breathing naturally, noticing if you're gripping anywhere. Allow yourself to soften just that micromillimeter. Maybe it's breathing deeper, longer. Sliding the heart slightly forward, relaxing shoulders. Ignoring any sounds that are near or far, distractions. May they all be part of your background, whatever's happening around you in the space you're in. And listening to those internal sounds, the breath, the heartbeat, and feeling how powerful you are in stillness. And slowly flip the palms back down if you had them facing the sky. We'll lower down, forehead comes down. Drop your right ear to gaze left. And left palm by your chest, bend into the left knee. Send your right arm out to a T. So right arm comes straight out to your side. We're going to press ourselves into a little twist. Send the left leg up and over, landing behind the right leg. Draw your heart forward. So it's a little twist here. Weight on the right side body, right leg. Feeling the shoulder release. With one ear down, the neck continues to release. Press left knee away from you, feeling the low back release, a little lengthen the abdomen. Option to send the left palm up overhead, landing behind the low back. Perhaps fingers interlace here. And if they do, draw the heart forward. And breathe. If your foot is in the air and does not meet the ground, you can always come to the ball of the foot or put a block or a pillow underneath the foot. You can bring your foot to your thigh if you like, as long as that feels good in your body, keeping pressure off of your knee. And get out any last wiggles. And relax. Keeping a space between the teeth if you notice any clenching there. And if your arm falls asleep behind you, you can always bring it up and by your face, keeping the palm in front of you as long as it feels it serves you. Wherever you are, take a deep inhale, fill up. And deep clearing exhale. Slowly make your way back to your belly, sending the left leg up and over. Moving with care, forehead comes down to center. Switching sides, send the left arm out to a T, out to the left. Left ear comes down, gazing right. Right palm by your chest, bend into the right knee, sole of the foot faces the sky, and press yourself up and over. Right foot landing behind left leg. Noticing the sensation side to side right away. Maybe a block under the foot this time, or maybe the foot comes down right away. Press your right knee away from you. Perhaps you send the right palm up and over, landing at the low back. Or fingers might find each other behind you, interlacing. And if so, draw the heart forward. And relaxing. Letting the breath be natural. Acknowledging any thoughts as they come and go, let them float away. And if there's tingling in the hands, you might bring one palm back by your face. Right palm can come up and over. Wherever you are, take a deep inhale, fill up. And deep, audible exhale. Slowly make your way back to your belly. And press yourself up, slowly sitting on to the knees, the shins. Sink your hips over your heels. Take a transitional child's pose. And coming up, head comes up last. We'll send the right leg long, sole of the left foot to the right inner thigh. And here you can have a blanket under the hips, a leg long or deep bend or micro bend in the right knee. So feeling if there's any pain in the knee or in the low back, you might start with a deep, generous bend. Otherwise, the leg can come all the way down, flexing toes towards your face. We'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist and fold over the lengthened leg. Your forehead might come to your knee if your knee is in a deep bend. Maybe you continue folding here. It's okay to round your back, forehead towards your knee, or even the crown of the head can come just above the knee. Hands at your calf, or maybe around your foot, wherever feels comfortable to you. A nice option here is to put a pillow or some blankets on top of your leg to stay a little higher. Feeling the low back and the hamstring release. And whatever variation or depth you've chosen, notice if you lose your breath. When we lose the breath, it's the body's way of telling us to back off. That might mean bending deeper into the knee, remembering to breathe, or staying a little more upright. Feeling length on your inhales and depth on your exhales. Slowly roll upright. Head comes up last. Take a little twist over the bent knee. And then send the left leg long. Sole of the right foot to the left inner thigh. And notice if you would like a little blanket underneath you, under the hips. You can always fold your mat in half if you prefer, or just using what's around you. And this side might be very, very different than the other side. Inhaling, reach up. Exhale, twist and fold over the lengthened leg. Notice here as you fold, sensation in your back and your knee, maybe keeping that deep bend. Hands can relax wherever, maybe around the ankle, the calf. And starting higher with the forehead on the knee, maybe you begin to straighten the leg down towards the ground, keeping that forehead to knee connection. Leaning and stopping anywhere along the way. Feeling that low back, hamstring progressively release in its own time. A little bit of compression in the belly. And once more, coming inward. Letting go of effort. And letting the body feel heavy. Crown of the head reaching long. Spine long. And leg falling heavier to the ground. Slowly we'll roll on up. Head comes up last. Take a little twist over the bent knee. And we'll come back to center. Send your right leg long, both legs long, wide-legged forward fold. You can sit on top of a folded blanket or a block, pillow, elevating the hips a little bit. It will help with any low back discomfort to tilt the pelvis. And you can always start with a deep bend in the knees, a high prop like a bolster, or maybe even two bolsters. Inhale, reach up. Then exhale, fold with a flat back. Hands can come to your prop or maybe your ankles, and maybe you straighten the legs slowly. Elbows can come down to the ground or on top of a prop. You're welcome to relax your head on interlaced knuckles. Maybe blocks under the knees. So feeling if you want something under the knees, and if you're not using any props, palms under your calves can be a nice option. Drawing the heart forward, shoulders back, flat back. You control the depth here. You're not using a prop to fold over. You might walk the hands far, far in front of you, dropping elbows down, finding that interlaced knuckle shelf for your forehead. Or if you're really warm today and the back feels okay, maybe palms come down and your forehead comes down to stacked palms. Letting gravity guide you. Letting go of expectation of outcome. Letting go of attachment to any outcome. Knowing your best yesterday is different than your best today and your best tomorrow. Inhale, feel the length in your body. And as you exhale, maybe you fold a little deeper or stay just as you are, releasing anything that does not serve you. Slowly we'll roll up. And bringing the legs in, come onto your knees, facing the top of your mat. I'm going to take dragon pose, so you can use props or no props. Coming to all fours and blanket under the knees if there's any tenderness. And we'll step the left leg outside the left hand. So hands, wrists are under your shoulder, shoulder over wrists, and the left foot just outside the hand, left knee by left shoulder. You might stay here on your palms. You might bring forearms on top of a cushion or a pillow. You might pull a cushion or two underneath you and drop one ear down, gazing to either side. Feeling the hamstring release, low back continue to release, abdomen, psoas. And you're welcome to come all the way down to the ground on forearms. You're welcome to slide the back leg a little further back. Maybe a block under the forehead. Knowing you can get as creative with props as you like, keeping a nice long spine, finding those tiny ways to adjust and relax, maybe flipping your palms to the sky if you're gripping in your hands. Relaxing into it, feeling that slow burn. Opening up the hip. Breathing naturally, letting thoughts go, letting thoughts come and go like passing clouds. Not chasing anything, just noticing. And gently press yourself up with your hands. Send the left knee back behind you, bringing it down to the ground. You can wiggle out the hip a little bit, making any motion in between that feels good. Even out your tabletop. And as you're ready, you'll step the right foot outside the right hand. Send the foot a little wider to the outside of your mat. And feel your shoulder against your knee, your hands firm into the ground. Maybe slide that back leg a little bit and finding your depth on this side. Maybe forearms come down. One hip tends to be more open than the other, so you might not go as far down right away. And if you took a bolster underneath you, one or two, if you laid your ear down on one side, I invite you to do so on this side and set the ear down on the side that you didn't do, evening out your neck. You can pull props in close to the belly or keep them far away from the belly, entirely up to you. Letting yourself feel supported, feeling that hamstring release, hip release, psoas release. You're making any adjustments as they call to you. Feeling the slow release. Slowly press yourself up with your hands. Bring a little movement into that right knee, right hip. Slowly, eventually bringing the right knee to meet the left. We'll crawl a little further to the top of the mat. Setting up for Virasana, hero pose. You can have that blanket under the knees if there's any discomfort. And maybe folding it a few times. Doesn't need to be a specific height, but just enough cushion to feel supported under the joints, or folding your mat in half. So sitting on the shins is the very entry position of Virasana. And then you can open up the feet outside the hips, drop hips down. If there's any pain in your knees, then come back to this position. And then as you feel yourself in each shape, notice maybe you send the knees a little further apart if there is that knee pain, whether the hips are down or up. And paying attention to if sensation evolves. If it becomes, oh, this feels good, keep with it. If it feels painful, back out. And eventually, maybe you bring a cushion behind you, or you could set up 2 blocks, one on the tall setting and one on the medium setting. You might also put a pillow or a cushion over the blocks, creating a ramp. And some bolsters might be kind of squishy, so you want to be sure these blocks are close enough together to support you, whether or not a cushion was on top of them. So we'll drop one elbow down and then the other. Hands can come to your ankles or your calves, and begin to lay back, opening up the heart. You can keep knees apart or glide them together. The lower you go down, the more ideal it is to have your knees together. Reaching arms overhead. Maybe hands find opposite elbows. And puff up your chest. Option to go all the way down to the ground. Again, using your feet, coming down one elbow at a time. Use your feet with your hands to help you lower down. And maybe hands come overhead once more. Puff up your chest. Feel the quads release. And the heart lifted. That's a little bit of a back bend. Nice and grounding. You control the depth and intensity. And just in case anyone is using blocks, I'll come up and show the exact placement. So one medium for shoulders, one tall for your head. And you can always come up to kneeling if you'd rather. So lowering one elbow at a time. And maybe scooting blocks a couple times until you feel you're there. Sometimes they magically land right where you need them. Just wiggling them a little bit far away from you. And knowing that every day our props might be feeling different in our body. Our body might be feeling different. So the setup we need, the support we need changes constantly. Letting the body feel heavy. Feeling this open-hearted position. Feel the heart lift on your inhale. And lower body root on your exhale, belly drawing in. And slowly we'll press ourselves up, maybe using one hand at a time. You can lift your hips, scoot your shins back together, and move any props from behind you just off to the side. We'll swing the legs right in front of us, so bring them to the side and then in front of you. Lowering back down. You can lower one vertebrae at a time, arms in front of you. Lowering as though your spine is a strand of pearls, one at a time. Take a big morning stretch. And then gently guide the hands by your sides. Send the right knee towards your chest, and then let it fall over to the left for a supine twist, nice and grounded here. Option to put a block or pillow underneath the leg, under the calf or the thigh could be nice. And feel free to explore the options of props, settling where you can be still and comfortable. Rest your hands wherever feels nice to you. And if you want a little more here, send your left heel, keeping your left knee low to the ground, send it towards the left glute, capturing the foot in your hand. Right hand might capture the toes. Option to straighten the right leg out to the side, and perhaps the left hand captures the toes of the right foot. And breathe. Hands can come to shins or thighs if you rather. And the depth of your twist is not as important as the breath. Feeling the shoulders grounded, feeling the twist from your core. And slowly, we'll send that right leg up and over. Send the right leg long, bend into the left knee. And send the left leg over to the right. Supine twist, left leg is either bent or straight out to the side. Maybe you have a block under the leg. Rest your hands wherever feels nice to you. Shoulders stay grounded. And if you took the toes into the hands on the other side, I invite you to explore that on this side. Slowly gliding the right heel towards your right glute, keeping the knee low to the ground. And maybe the toes crawl just a little bit towards your hand and the hand captures them. Feeling that quad stretch in there. Shoulders staying grounded. You might grab your calf or your ankle, capturing the toes of the other foot if you took both sides, and not forcing anything. Being mindful not to force and strain, and observing how different Our body is side to side. And slowly send your left leg up and over. Take a big morning stretch once more. And then gently guide your hands by your sides, draw soles of the feet together, knees out wide for supine butterfly. You're welcome to stay on the ground or bring props underneath you. And if you want props underneath you, maybe you grab your thighs or press your elbows into the ground, forearms into the ground, and roll up, chin into your chest. Just kind of walk your elbows back. And then you can slide something and just press yourself up. You can slide something underneath you, maybe blocks under the knees. And if you want to get really cozy, you can take a blanket of any length and just roll it up. Maybe about, so both arms are still visible in front of you. And you put it over the toes, underneath the ankles, and then pull in towards your hips. So the blanket on top of the feet will help to keep the feet together, nice and snug. And then you can use the edges of the blanket to lower down all the way back down to the ground or on top of a prop if you've chosen one. Let yourself settle in. Let the body feel heavy, relaxed, hips opening, grounding, a sense of heaviness and lightness all at once, lighter and brighter with each breath, letting go of what does not serve you. Get out any last wiggles. And sink in a little deeper. These next few minutes are yours. In this active rest, the shape you've chosen as your final resting shape. You're welcome to stay here or move to another shape of your choosing. And whatever you choose, may you be still. May you be nourished by your breath. May you surrender to what is, being here now. And as you lay here in silence, observing, noticing if there's anywhere in the body you can relax just that tiny bit more, maybe in the toes, maybe in the face. Allow yourself to do so. And observing the sensation of heaviness. The longer you hold your posture, that sense of heaviness as though you're making an imprint in wet sand. The shape of you becomes clearer and clearer as you lay here. And the little pieces of energy that no longer serve you float away like sand in the breeze. And slowly, if you're wanting to stay in rest, stay just as you are. Otherwise, wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. If it's safe in the posture you're in, rock your head side to side. And eventually make your way to one side with bent knees, using your arm as a pillow or an actual pillow, maybe putting a blanket between the thighs, staying low to the ground. And feeling this sense of heaviness, grounding, blood flowing, keeping eyes soft or closed, coming into this energetic transition, this symbolic shape of rebirth. Feeling the sense of warmth, noticing any aromas in the space, taste in your mouth, sounds near and far, sounds internally, the quality of light peeking through the eyelids, into the now. You're welcome to stay here on your side. Or if you're ready to move on, you'll press yourself up with your hands without hurry. Coming to that comfortable seat we began in. And just moving any props out of your way along the way. Allowing yourself to feel the lower body root back down into the earth. Noticing if you're leaning forward or back, left or right. Noticing any differences from the beginning to now. Observing sensation in the body. the headspace, and your breath. Inhaling, send your palms up overhead, reach up. Reach for what you want. Exhaling, palms together, draw them into the heart space. Pulling in what you want. I invite you to reflect on anything that came up for you on the mat tonight. Adding on any further thoughts of what we're calling in. And if nothing comes to mind, perhaps it greets you in your dreams or when you wake. Wrapping up our thoughts. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and showing up for yourselves. Beginners or winners, together we bow. Namaste.